All right, let's get right into it. This is YoYo Review first look at the freshly dirty VHS. Um, Arthur, I'm already saying drives me nuts. Arthur, Foley, and Alex Morton over at Freshly Dirty were kind enough to send this over to me. It hasn't been officially released yet. I believe it will be released sometime in October. Full disclosure, I traded a dunk rebound to those guys for this, so I'm not receiving this for free. I didn't pay for it, but I'm not receiving it for free. So this is an unbiased review, even though I am friends with these guys. Uh, I like them a lot. I love their yo-yos. I haven't been disappointed yet. Very unique profile. Now, first glance, it reminds me of a Duncan freehand. They're nearly the same width. They pretty much are the same width. But I've been describing it to my friends as a Duncan freehand made of metal with a D bearing with cuts in the profile. Now, the cuts immediately remind me of the H spin yo yo, the cut. The CUT came out years ago, an H spin yo yo. H spin, they made the Pyro, they made the Good and Evil series. They made a yo yo called the Cut that was probably the first yo yo to have these cuts in it. Does it do anything functionally? I'm not sure. Aerodynamics wise, I'm not smart enough to tell you. Grind wise, it feels like there's less surface area. These cuts are just ever so slightly concave, I think. It's really hard to tell, but it feels like you get less resistance on grinds. Other than that, it just looks cool and it feels good in your hand. Now, a little more about Freshly Dirty before we dig deeper into the VHS. If you don't have one of these, a Mod 44, Modular 44, I don't know what you're doing. Everyone needs one of these in their collection. Freshly Dirty is known for doing very small boutique runs of generally D-bearing size yo-yos. They were a huge inspiration for me to do the dunk rebound. I have this beautiful polished rebound here. They were immensely helpful in getting it off the ground, figuring out that, I mean, they have the pad size, their own Freshly Dirty pad size that this yo-yo uses, that the dunk also uses. So just really a unique company. I think they do a better job than most companies with themes of their yo-yos. I know Alex Morton is a VHS enthusiast, the media, VHS tapes, and I believe he's a collector. So this yo-yo isn't just randomly called the VHS. He's taking one passion and bringing it into the yo-yo world. The engraving is like the spindle of a VHS tape. I don't have packaging for this yo-yo, but I know that they have some really unique packaging ideas. They do a great job with packaging and theming the and just like the design language of their yo-yos is always solid. I have a lot of respect for them for that. Now, this yo-yo, I don't have my scale. I think it weighs between 63 and 65 grams. I'm not a numbers guy. These reviews are never going to be about numbers and specs. You can find that elsewhere. This is going to be me talking about my thoughts of the yo-yo, followed by some POV video of me playing with the yo-yo and talking about it at the same time. So before we get to that, let's open this up and just show you. Concave D size bearing. If you haven't played with a D bearing yo-yo, I recommend it. It is a different experience. What are we doing here when we're playing with yo-yos to begin with? Yo-yo design has peaked. We're playing catch up as players to the design of yo-yos. The design of yo-yos has surpassed what we are capable of as players. So what's the point of owning more than one yo-yo? Why not just buy a freehand, a plastic yo-yo, and buy a rebound, a metal yo-yo, and call it a day? Because they play different. I get asked this all the time by non-yo-yoers. Why do you have so many yo-yos? What is the difference between them? And as yo-yo players, we know what the difference is. They feel different in our hand. They feel different on the string. They spin. The spin feels different vibrating through the string back to your hands. They feel different on grinds. Some of them do rejections better than others, string rejections. It's an endless list. Like, we love variety. Variety is the spice of life when it comes to yo-yoing and yo-yo design. So if you haven't tried a D bearing size yo-yo, you've only tried C bearings or even A bearings like the freehand has. The D bearing is a size between an A bearing and a C bearing. So it's a medium size bearing, I like to call it. What does this do? The yo-yo spins faster. Um, Preservation of angular momentum. I think it's conservation of angular momentum is, I believe, what it's called. I hope I'm getting that right. It's the same idea of when a figure skater puts their arms in to spin faster, out to spin slower. When they're doing one of those crazy spins, ice skater, you know what I'm talking about? Same idea. This yo-yo, a D-bearing size yo-yo, like the Rebound or the VHS, is going to you'll feel the spin power initially on the initial throw is much faster. I shouldn't quantify it. I don't know if it's much faster or just a tiny bit faster than a C bearing, but it's noticeable, and that's all that matters. You can feel the power. What else? The biggest thing of all, binds. They bind snappier, tighter. They play like an older school yo-yo. Now, when you get into lots of string in your gap, these things are going to snag. That's just the way it is. The pads are bigger. There's more surface area. They're a special size pad, freshly dirty size D-bearing pads. They don't work with 19 millimeter pads. Trust me, my prototype dunk rebounds accidentally got D-bearings with 19 millimeter pads, and it did not work. You gotta have the special pad. You will just feel the difference on the string. You will definitely feel the difference in the bind. So if you haven't tried it, try it. This yo-yo has one. It has been my everyday carry yo-yo since I got it. I haven't been able to put it down, and that is a fact. It's a classic shape. It is a freehand shaped yo-yo, more or less. The cuts just make it more fun. It feels awesome just to run your fingers along these cuts. It's a very satisfying yo-yo to play with. The binds are super tight, even tighter than the Rebound, I would say. And if you've played with a Rebound, you know how well it binds. This binds even better. It regenerates incredibly. It is glass smooth, which is not something that's necessarily important to me. I've talked about it in the past, but it's always a pleasure, and it's always a sign of good yo-yo design and good yo-yo manufacturing when you get a glass smooth yo-yo. These are 70-75 aluminum, so they're strong. They will last a lifetime. I do not know the price point of this yo-yo. They don't make many yo-yos. Freshly Dirty does small runs. When they're gone, as far as I know, they've never reran a design. I could be wrong on that, but you want to grab one while you can. I can't recommend this yo-yo enough. I gave it to Tyler Severance. He loved it. I gave it to Andre Boulet. He loved it. He thought it reminded him of a freehand and a cut mix, just like I said. It's not just me, you know. I'm in good company. People like this yo-yo. Everyone I've handed it to has enjoyed it, and I think you will too. If it's your first D-bearing yo-yo, awesome. It'll get you into that world. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Some people don't. It is a preference thing, but it's definitely worth trying. I know they have some cool color waves planned. This is just a solid black. Again, it fits with the VHS theme. VHS tapes are generally black plastic tapes. And I know they have some other VHS themed colorways coming that are really cool. I saw like a cool orangey acid wash one. It's just a solid, really fun yo-yo. So like I was saying, without further ado, let's get to some yo-yoing. I will do some tricks with this yo-yo with my GoPro on, and I will talk about it. All right, so we're throwing the Freshly Dirty VHS. On the throw right away, you can feel how powerful it is. I don't know if the audio is going to pick up, but man, it's spinning fast. Plenty of spin after a long grind to get back to my hand. It binds beautifully. Let's see here if I can. Just no problems, tight as can be. String rejections are great. And the binds. Now you can see here, too much string, like I mentioned, in the gap, and you're going to snag. It's just the nature of the D bearing. Smaller bearing, smaller gap, bigger pads. It can be a bit snaggy sometimes. That's going to be it for this review, guys. Thank you for watching. We're going to end with just a couple tricks here. This music in the background is by Isaac Sams, yo-yo legend, great music producer. You can check him out on Instagram at Isaac_Sams. This has been a review of Freshly Dirty's VHS yo-yo, first look. Follow Freshly Dirty at Freshly Dirty on Instagram. Thanks, guys.